Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
It's somebody like not like bagels. Bagels are just like a
Number
gift to
4,
humanity.
everything bagel. Number 5, plain bagel.
You good? You good there, buddy?
Number 6, Monterey Jack bagel.
Okay. Well, welcome to our list of favorite types of bagels, starring Ecliptic Fades, Firestreak, and Docky. No, everybody, welcome in to RFDL week number 11. Guys, we're finally here. One more week of league play, and we're on to the mid-season tournament. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic, Fade. You know how I am. Every single week. Feeling good.
I'm doing great.
I mean, getting closer and closer to that tournament. Everybody's so excited for all of that. I am definitely excited. Might not sound it, still getting over a little bit of the sickness over on this end, guys. But we've got some excellent matches to show you guys today. We've got some excellent matches from last week that we're going to talk about just a little bit, along with some of our predictions. And obviously, as you guys know, we didn't have a podcast this week, so we will be talking about last week's match of the week and the MVP as well. And I mean, we're just gonna get straight into talking about just some of the last week games. We're not gonna go in depth as we usually do with some of these matches. We're just gonna talk more in general leading up into this week, because this is the week where everything truly matters going into this next phase of league play, and as we keep saying, the mid-season tournament. But I mean, guys, we had quite a few. We had like half of the games be sweeps last week, which is a little bit straying from the norm that we've had recently. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the pressure of mid-season is starting to rear itself for some of these teams, or why do you think we got so many sweeps?
I mean, here's the thing, Fade. It may be out of the norm for the season in general, but I think that's the second week in a row, if I am remembering correctly, that it has been a lot of sweeps. So I'm not sure if this is...
I think week 9 didn't have any.
Really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
I must be mistaken then. Well, I think I should stop talking then, because Fox don't know ball, so...
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, I think you guys knew ball against Fox Clan last week. We could talk about that a little bit. The only Fox that didn't know ball that much was Fox Clan, it seemed like, as you guys did get one of the sweeps over them. Look, I gotta segue some way. I mean, hearts out to my boys Taka, JV, and Abyss. But it really was like the Gentle Paw show during that entire match. I mean, 4-3, 2-1, 6-1. You guys had a 7 goal differential. It just seemed like you guys knew exactly what you were doing on the field the entire time. And I mean, Fox Clan definitely looking a little bit shaky in that series as well. We're gonna have to see how they step up today against Lumimosity, which will be our featured matchup of the week, I believe. But I mean, Docky, what did you think about that match? I can't remember if you casted that or not.
My memory only goes back 45 seconds, but
Fair.
no, I mean, I do remember the match. I don't remember if I was specifically casting it, but the yeah, it was just like, it was like the perfect counter attack to I think that playstyle that the Fox Clan has been doing and succeeding with. That picked this as a disruptor on those kind of passing plays in the midfield, like deadly, and so that just worked out really well for them. It felt like they were constantly in an advantageous position, and obviously that turned itself out to be pretty successful for them. So well played to them. They didn't really need to change anything that entire series, and had to have felt good for them.
Yeah, Fire. I mean, you know, you guys have gotten some dominant victories like that before, so this doesn't seem like anything new for your squad. But seeing things starting to come together more and more as you approach this midway point in the league, how does that boost your guys' confidence, especially with that win getting you guys back into the top 8 after so long?
It's definitely good for the confidence, but really this is kind of once I knew that we had a consistent GC3 for the team, that's what I wanted. Is kind of my goal was to have us really starting to click, really on the same page by the time midseason comes around, because I mean, if we can do well in midseason, then that will really help us out for playoffs and all that. So I mean, I knew that we were capable of it. It was just like putting it all together. So I'm really happy with how Strawberry has been showing up lately, and then of course Pictus goated. So
Yeah, have to agree with that. They were doing really good work in that last week. We'll have to see if you guys can do it this week. You're going to be playing X3 Tactics, which, you know, big implications for both you and X3 Tactics, depending on how other matches go during this weekend, as well as we've constantly talked about X3 and Black Bunny Gaming kind of fighting for that #1 seed right now. Both of them guaranteed to be in that bye round for mid-season, but you know, you always want to start off on the highest note possible. You always want to go in with the confidence that your team is first seed. Been a little bit difficult for X3 Tactics as their roster has kind of went over an extreme revamp. However, one of our other sweeps last week was also from X3 Tactics, and they looked really good. They were playing against Twisted Tails, and Twisted Tails, we really did think that they had some promise with this new roster, and I'm still just waiting to see it, because I'm, you know, they're popping off, they're doing some good plays, but there was just something about that X3 Tactics squad last week. Maybe it was the honeymoon effect right there with the new squad, because they were just extremely aggressive. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Docky.
Okay, sorry. I yawned into that. Paul, my bad. No, that X3 team is obviously really good, and they kind of have the ability to play. I mean, we talked about this last week too, but they have the ability to play with a little more comfortably just because of how they are on the leaderboard. So with the new team, they don't really need to stress, and that kind of showed. They felt, you know, pretty comfortable in their matchup, so that's good for them. And then you kind of have like the opposite, where, you know, Twisted Tails is kind of low enough to the point where they can kind of just, you know, try to have fun as a team. Obviously, it's not over for them by any means yet, but you know, they're far enough down where it's not like they're fighting for, you know, one win up to go up a spot, so they can kind of relax a little bit, I think, in that regard. I know that we kind of expected them to, I think, come back a lot stronger this week than last week, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I think they still played really well. I think they just need to keep at it. You know, like you hope that, you know, within 1 week that maybe you'll have like the rotations clicked in, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that quickly, and that's totally fine. They'll take some time. They obviously have really talented people on that team, so they just got to take more time with it, and I think they'll have a lot of fun doing so.
I mean, all I can say is after that one honeymoon week, look back at our team. We had a couple of down weeks while we were figuring out our rotations with each other, and I'm seeing them honestly do a lot of the same things we were. So I think they will figure it out in time in terms of just some of those little rotational hiccups that come along with a new team, but they just need a little bit more time, and that's perfectly okay. They're still a great roster, and they'll come around in time. They just have a couple more things to maybe work out on the rotations side of things, and then they'll be good. So. Yeah, Twisted Tail is going to be just fine in the long run. I'm looking forward to seeing what they are going to be able to do in the future.
Yeah, and I have to agree here, and especially coming into this week and the midseason tournament in general, for Twisted Tales, they are going to be in that 12th seed no matter what, so they already will have their spot on the bracket, but that just means that, the only way is up. The best thing about starting in that lowest seed is you're literally just playing to spoiler, you're playing upset through all your matches, so you got nothing to lose. You can go in with like just full just let's have fun, let's have a good time mentality, play your best games, and with the format for midseason being so much different than our usual league play, I could definitely expect if teams underestimate how Twisted Tales are going to perform in that midseason tournament, they could make a bit of a decent run. I mean, Liska, we always say Liska goated. Gifty, I know, is quite a ones player. And Golden, I mean, defensive genius when it comes to 2v2. Usually plays twos all the time with Devil, their roommate. So you know that they're probably going to be an easy player to get chemistry with. So, they could really make a decent run into the mid-season tournament, which, end up winning that as the lowest seed, and then suddenly the entire leaderboard just gets so much harder to navigate, because then, you've got one of those bottom teams automatically making playoffs. It could really throw some of these closer battles into a lot more stressful environments for some of these teams. But let's go ahead and talk about another match here. And I guess we'll talk about the team that Twisted Tales is going to be playing this week, BDS, as they got a sweep last week against Persian 1. Not a super, I wouldn't say not convincing, because it's BDS. Obviously, their sweeps are very good when they are on point, but they weren't outscoring as much as I thought they could. Or I expect that roster to, with how aggressive they are. Usually you're seeing like some bigger score lines from them, but just didn't seem to be that this week. So what do you think about Persian 1 coming into week, or Persian 1, Big Dragon Squad, my bad, coming into this next week?
So, if I remember right, BDS had a sub last week, didn't they?
They might have. I can't
They did.
remember.
Yeah, I think they had a sub last week, and I think they can chalk up those potentially weaker offensive performances down to having a sub. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think I don't think it's anything that they're going to be worrying about too much. It's more of just a thing of, oh, they had a sub last week, they took care of business still, and then they move on to the next week. So I think BDS just as strong as ever, and I mean, Reverb, goated player. You also have the supporting cast on that team is also very strong too. So yeah, solid team, and I'm excited to see them play this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we say what we always like to say about Reverb. If he's in the backfire, chalk it up, Like, we all have that kind of, what would it be, like, superstition that when he's playing on a different car, it's just, it can determine the outcome of the match. But, I think they're playing against Twisted Tales, and you can't underestimate Twisted Tales at all, because they definitely have a chance to win that match if they are not playing at peak efficiency. Meanwhile, Version 1, they're going to be going up this week against Black Funny Gaming, and that is going to be a tough match for both teams as well. Gonna have to wait to see what they bring out for us. I believe they're going to be playing later today. Let's see. Dignipause and Luminosity from last week was a pretty good series as well. Finally, a match not getting into sweep territory, getting that game 4. Dignipause really showing up and making me excited to see them this week. They have that new player in Infernal coming in, which we've seen Infernal sub a couple of times before. He is now a full-time member of the roster, as we will be talking about here in a little bit with roster changes and such. But having Infernal come in for a full-time third, that's something that I've been waiting to see for a while, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to fit into this team. What do you guys think?
I've been, for like the entire season, the biggest Dignipause simp, and I feel like I've said this because they've had so many roster changes. Just it's been quite unfortunate, but yeah, I feel like I've said this a few times before, but unironically, I do think this new roster will absolutely roll. I think they'll play incredibly well if they're able to get all of them on consistently. I mean, Infernal is, for GC2, Infernal is probably one of the better GC2s you can get. I mean, this is a person that I think has hit GC3 like really recently. So yeah, just a crazy get. Yeah, they're gonna be really difficult to take down. And you know, I'll be happy for them. They definitely need to get some wins, and they'll have a lot of fun time doing it. So yeah, I think they'll be strong. I know I've said it before, but yeah, I can't see this team losing many.
I mean, yeah, I think they will be solid. I've always really been a fan of Infernal's gameplay at that GC2 rank, and I feel like he brings to the table a lot of just consistency. He's really good at working around his teammates and doing exactly what his team needs of him. So, yeah, I think it's something you don't see out of the GC2s quite as much as out of the GC3s, but definitely Infernal brings that to the table, and it's really good to see him play week in, week out.
Yeah, one thing that I always like to bring up about Infernal, based off of the time where he subbed for me, was that his comms are very, because he's so focused on CRL play usually and playing for his college team, his comms are very high level, which I think works really well for this Dignipause team, because when you have somebody like Sylvie on your team, I think having those comms be as clear and concise as possible is really going to help your star players kind of pop off. And I think that Infernal is going to be able to bring the comms to the squad that are going to help Sylvie stay in that mindset to, you know, just keep locked in. And that's something that, you know, if you can keep Sylvie locked in for an entire match, that's going to be an extremely scary team. I know we like to meme and talk about how Dignipause will go up by a couple of games and then they'll start dropping stuff, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen with this roster. I think that the comms difference from Infernal might make a change with that, and that means, you know, if they could keep that going, Dignipause is going to go up that leaderboard rather quickly, and that is very scary. But on the other side, you also have Luminosity, who is a great team in itself, and they're going to be fighting this week against Fox Clan, as we said earlier, and that's not going to be an easy match for them either. So hopefully they are going to be getting some practice in before their match today, because I think both of these teams are going to have a tough battle to continue on. Let me check the time real quick. Just trying exactly how much time we have before our first match. But I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the match of the week, MVP of the week, talk about a couple of other things, go into the next matches. But to give you a general consensus of the last match that we haven't talked about, besides the match of the week, Black Bunny Gaming, ProGen Rebellion, went to 4 games. ProtoGen looked strong in that game number 3 they had. But besides that, it was, once again, it was like the Hammer and Kiki show. Like, you give them space on the ball, they're gonna score in your net. And I think that's just something that we saw a lot of space given from ProtoGen in that series, and they kind of paid for it.
So here's the thing with ProtoGen. Very, very solid team. They've had quite a few weeks now where they've been playing pretty well, and they've been playing well because they have had full control over their boost. And they just didn't seem to have that same control over their boost this match. They really were just kind of looking to maybe be a bit awkward, a bit low on boost, just a bit more often than what you would want to see them be. So I think that's kind of how teams are starting to game plan against them, is just keep control of their boost just to force them out of their comfort zone on the defensive side of things. And I think that Black Bunny did a really good job of that. And then in combination with that, I mean, Kiki having just a standout performance this week. Like, Kiki was popping off, and I think this is the first time in quite a few weeks that we've seen it not just completely be the Hammer show. It's Kiki had a big impact on that match, and shout out to Kiki for having a great game, or a great series, I should say.
Yeah, Docky, what did you think?
Yeah, I don't know what else I could add to that, other than, like you guys were saying, Kiki's been playing really, really well. I think fits really well into that kind of secondary threat position, and yeah, has accounted for a lot of their wins. So yeah, they're playing really, really well. Hopefully, we're going to see some more adaptations to that playstyle. But until then, yeah, unfortunately, not much more I can say.
Yeah, that's fair. I just want to see, you know, how everybody does going into this next week. I think Black Bunny's looking kind of strong. I think ProtoGen, they're going to want to get a win here, especially because they are still tied with a lot of other teams right now in those in that bottom half of the leaderboard. So a win right now could put them up into the top 8, even higher than that possibly, depending on how matches go. However, they will have a tough matchup this week as well. But let's talk about our match of last week. It was only one to go to game 5. We gotta show it off a little bit. It was Awaptic Gaming versus Cloud9, and my team, Cloud9, coming in with Yuki as the sub. Took it all the way to 5 games. It was a really good 5-game series between my team and Docky's team. We eke it out in the end, but I think that everybody had some really good plays.
I mean, yeah, I think well played by both teams in that series. I think things might have gotten a little bit away from Awaptic towards the end there. I think just they were playing really solid all the way up until maybe the last minute 30 or so of that series. So, I mean, I don't think they should have too much to worry about after that series. They played well, but Cloud9 just playing really, really well. So well played to them.
It was all fun. GG's to everyone involved. You know, go into game 5. Always a lot of fun. So, you know, I always talk about how I want to see more game 5. So, you know, I had to make it happen. Right?
Yeah, I gotta agree there, although I think my team wants to see less Game 5s in their matches played, to be completely honest. I think we'd rather take those in 4 or 3, if possible. But it is always nice, especially when it's like, you know, our teams aren't like, super competitive about it. We're like, let the best team win, GG's all around, everything, as usual. But it's like, getting to play against you, Docky, and other people that I'm very familiar with, being able to take it all the way to a game 5. It is very fun. I do want to shout out Factual in this game or in this series in particular, because he showed up in a couple of those games in particular. Most importantly, game 2, scoring, I believe, 6 goals, or 5 goals on 6 shots, actually, which was absolutely incredible from him. He's usually known as our defensive backline, but he really was stepping forward in offense in this series, and you'll love to see it going into this mid-season where you're not going to have all the players on the field that you're used to back you up. So making sure that all of your players are, getting their shots, getting that aggressive mindset going for some of those 2v2s and the 1v1s, that's going to be very important going into the next couple of weeks. As you're not going to be able to rely on your star players for each team all the time to be scoring all the goals you need. So yeah, I mean, big shout out to Factual, and well played to everybody here, and happy that it was a close series up to the end. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about it, but we will just let GG's, we'll let the video go through. I think we're almost at the last clip, but that was our final match to talk about for that week. And then, we've got our leaderboard that we will show you guys coming up right now. Yep, right here. So you can see leaderboard going into week 11. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, but X3 Tactics and Black Bunny Gaming, same record. So definitely both these teams going to be looking for a win. X3 Tactics, if they can get a win, guarantees themselves first seed regardless of Black Bunny Gaming's match this week. So they're definitely going to be looking for that win against Gentle Paws. And then we've got some ties going on. Big Dragon Squad and Cloud9 going to be fighting for that 3rd place. However, once again, kind of the same thing for Big Dragon Squad. If they do get a win here, they guarantee themselves 3rd place. So we'll have to see if they can do that later today. Meanwhile, another 3-way tie in 5th through 7th, 5 and 5 for Fox Clan, Persian 1, and Digging Paws. Gentle Paws, Lumimosity, Awaptic, and Progen Rebellion all tied at that 4 and 6 margin as well. The game differential is pretty close between them all as well. So a good sweep coming out from any of these teams could push them back up into the top 8 coming into this week. That's very exciting going into this mid-season. And for people asking about top 5 plays, I don't think we actually decided on the top 5 plays this week. Our bad. I was sick all week. So I don't think we ever got around to it. NA production.
I blame Fade.
Maybe we just need a B team that just does all the top 5 plays. Maybe we just have too much to do. I don't know, but blaming me, that's wild. That's wild, guys.
No, I normally would.
Uh-huh.
Not important.
No, you can say it, Docky. Go ahead.
I was just saying, normally I do those. I try to get those done pretty quickly, but unfortunately, just a little bit busy this weekend. So apologies for that, but I'll make sure to have them next week.
Oh yeah, we'll have them for the mid-season. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say that because I would do a lot of work, and I'm not even gonna think about that. Top 5 for week 11 will come for mid-season. We will do our best with that. But let's look at the schedule for this coming week. And here's all the matches. We were talking about them throughout the entire last little bit. But X3 versus Gentle Paws, Awaptic versus Dignipaws, Progen Rebellion versus Cloud9, Persia 1 versus Black Bunny Gaming, Twisted Tales versus BDS, and our featured matchup, Fox Clan versus Lumimosity. It's going to be an exciting week of matches, guys. And, you can only talk about it so much, but this week, probably the most important week that most of these teams have had going into one, the mid-season tournament, but more than that, after this week, seeding comes out for our next half of league play. So how we did it before was we just had everybody's seeds be in alphabetical order, and so that determined who you guys played in this first week, 11 weeks. Now the matches are going to be switched up depending on where you're seated in league play, based on week 11. So I mean, you guys are going to have a much different schedule popping up for everybody going into the second half of league play, and that could be a really good thing for a team. It could be a really bad thing for a team. I'm very excited to see what kind of matchups we're going to be starting with in week 12, and it still amazes me, guys. It's 11 weeks and we're still only just getting to the halfway point of this season.
It's a long season. For sure. It is a long season.
Yeah, long season. We still got plenty of time to go. Now, before we talk about our final points here, we are going to talk about the free agent portal. We're not gonna go. Actually, I think I forgot to even download that picture. But we're gonna talk about what happened in the free agent category for this week. As we said before, we did have some teams pick up some players, and we did have a player leave a team, and we've also seen a bit of a manager change. So we'll talk about all of that. First off, Infernal, as we said, picked up by Dignipause, going to be an excellent addition to that team. Second off, I believe we had Frosty picked up officially by X3 Tactics, which is another really good one to do. I'm just gonna see if I can get this image real quick. That way I can show everybody. But Docky, how about you tell us about the other changes that we saw for teams this week? This one should be really easy for you.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun week for the side of Optic, but there's some back and forth and some talking. T-Park will be taking over as the manager of that team, and I'm gonna stay on board to play along with my friend there. We don't have a third, as Scala has dropped from the team, but we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a great time either way. So yeah, unforeseen circumstances, but we'll make the best of it and we'll have a lot of fun doing so.
Yeah, we finally have that graphic popping up for you guys right there. You can also see Runeski officially not the manager of Dignipause anymore, as Attacking Toads has taken that position. Runeski is coming in as a free agent though, so always a decent pickup to have as well as a sub. And you can never underestimate Gala. They play so well. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for them on Awoptic, but I'm sure that subbing them in for another team, that you could have some really good results with them. So very excited to see what they're going to be going and doing for this whichever team they want to sub for. And I think, what else do we got to talk about? Do we want to talk about, we've got two more topics. Do we want to talk about the MVP, or do you guys want to talk about what we all are more interested in and what happened with Turtles?
Turtles.
I'm asking the desk.
Turtles? I want to see where Turtles ended up.
You want to see where Turtles ended up? Okay, well, we'll talk about Turtles and then we'll get to the MVP. But Turtles is actually in a very interesting spot now, as I kind of went to a little bit of a different place with this. Obviously, as you guys know, Turtles and his team lost last week, and so Turtles had to go somewhere a little bit more remote. And I talked to the team a little bit, and I was like, what's going on with Turtles, guys? How's the team feeling? And as we were talking, one common theme came out, and it was all about those shots that we gave them the week before, those jammy Dodger shots. They were too much. They said that ever since we gave them that, the team was on a sinking ship. And so we decided to take that a little bit literally here for Turtles. And we took him to a literal sinking ship. As you can see right here, he does not have any more shots. They are empty now. So hopefully we can move him on to somewhere a bit better. But he's on a sinking ship now. So at least it's got the potential to sink. I think if you look at the design, it looks like it could be. He looks like he's king of the world right now, but that ship could sink any second. And we're hoping that he gets those shots out of his system and plays, keeps away from that in the next match. But we'll have to see. I personally kind of want him to keep drinking those shots, but you never know. We'll see. Either way, guys, Turtles on a ship now. I'd say that's pretty remote.
I don't know. I think this ship in particular had quite a few people on it, though, Fade. But
I don't see any people.
at the same, yeah, that's true. No people on it right now, but yeah, I think this is definitely a ship that will sink very quickly. So, yeah, you know what? Hopefully Turtles is able to lock in, because if not, then I have ideas for where he could go next.
All right, as do I. But before we talk about Turtles' possible downfall this next week, which you might see that I think they play tomorrow, we have to talk about the final part of this podcast low section, and that is going to be the MVP of the week. And we talked about them a little bit. Obviously, to be the MVP, you need to, one, do very effectively for your team, but also kind of be the highlight of your team in that week. And this is going to a player that, usually is a little overshadowed by one of their teammates in particular. And I mean, let's just talk about it. We say it every time. It's usually the Hammer Show. It wasn't just the Hammer Show this last week. It was the Hammer and Kiki Show. And more importantly, I think it was more the Kiki Show than the Hammer Show. And obviously, if you can outperform Hammer, you're getting MVP. Like, that's just how it goes. Like, Kiki did amazing in this match against Protogen Rebellion. And we figured it was time to give them, their due. They've been playing really solid for a while now, but Kiki is going to be your MVP for week number 10.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, go ahead, Ducky.
Oh, I don't have the stats on hand. I was gonna grab them, but my monitor is being weird. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? They remember that game specifically. They were kind of everywhere doing most of the scoring for their team. It felt like they were most game planning for Kiki to be the kind of the primary shooter based on the passing plays we were seeing. So yeah, it's well deserved. They've been playing so well on that team since they started. So yeah, as a complementary player to Hammer, yeah, you love to see it.
I mean, yeah, Kiki really, like, I've seen it multiple times now, but just being extremely fast to the ball to put shots on net and just leaving that Protogen Rebellion defense just a little bit slower than they wanted to be, a little bit more awkward than they wanted to be, just over and over again. So, I mean, Kiki, well played to them last week. They just popped off, simply.
Yeah, that was a perfect week for Kiki, and excellent to go into this week with some confidence for the team as well. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. And while they are fighting for that top seed, all the confidence they need or they could get is going to be useful. But for now, guys, that is the end of our podcast segment here. I do need to change some stuff around on the back end. So we are going to be, the stream is going to go down for about like 30 seconds to a minute. We are going to have a very short break, about 5 minutes. And when we come back, we will be talking about our first match of the day, which is going to be Twisted Tales versus BDS. So stick around with us, guys. Refresh your page in about like 30 seconds if it doesn't pop up automatically, and we will be right